So the left, and specifically Hillary, for those of you who don't know, who lost in the 2016 election by 20 electoral votes, who, well, had 33,000 emails that she hadn't deleted, and yet people still defend her. I mean, I think she's the most corrupt person in the world. And she states that she could have done a way better job than Trump at handling the coronavirus. Yeah. Uh, well, if you're specifically acknowledging the fact that you would kill half of the U.S.'s population by not only letting MS-13 into the country, but also, well, negotiating with ISIS and sitting in the White House, just letting the Chinese people infected with the virus come in here because, well, that's what you would have wanted. Just to get the country completely affected, make this the purge, a real purge, an apocalypse. That's just her view of what she would have done. I mean, if you're talking about that, oh my God, you would have done a tremendous job. I mean, everybody would be dead except for you. You would have done a tremendous job. I mean, top notch. I'm talking about nobody could have done better than you. But if you're talking about saving people's lives, you would have done a horrendous job. I believe the worst job ever. So let's talk about that. But she said, so it says here, CNN, fake news, complete fake news, says Hillary Clinton taunted President Donald Trump in an interview published on Friday, criticizing his handling of the coronavirus by saying that she, as president, not is president because she's not, would have done a better job handling the international pandemic. The comments from a former rival, which came during a wide-ranging interview on a documentary released this year about Clinton's life, hits Trump on an issue that has depressed his re-election hopes and frustrated his administration. Start quote, "We sure could have done a better job saving lives, modeling better, more responsible behavior. Let me rephrase that. We sure could have done a better job killing lives, modeling worse, more irrational behavior," Clinton told the Hollywood Reporter's Awards Shatter podcast. "I don't think we necessarily should have had as deep an economic assault on livelihoods and jobs as we have. So I know would have done a better job, yeah. I bet you at the White House, the economy would be at its lowest. There will be no jobs because everyone will be dead." Clinton said it was frustrating to be on the sidelines in a pandemic. Where would you want to be? In the White House, having everyone dead, all the corpses, and the country in inflation, another Great Depression? That's where you would want. Everyone knows the coronavirus pandemic has dominated the last 4 months of American life, including altering every aspect of the presidential campaign. Trump's campaign has struggled to forge on in the face. More than 2.7, again, this is an antique article, 2.7 million cases of COVID have been confirmed, by far the most in the world, and more than 128,000 Americans have died. So, again, this is a leftist article, and I haven't heard them, they haven't talked about how many people have been tested. They haven't compared that integer in comparison with the other countries. They're only looking at the high number, and that high number is affiliated with the number of cases. They can care less about the deaths. They're not talking about the mortality rate and percentage. I mean, you look at this, we have 3.5 million confirmed cases as of today, and 141,000 deaths. When you look at that, you compare it, the number of deaths is a very diminutive integer in comparison with the number of cases. It is a very diminutive percentage that somebody will die by getting the coronavirus, the Chinese virus, better put. And the left is just solely blaming Trump for everything that's occurring. Well, if their food isn't cooked right, it's Trump's fault. I mean, everything is Trump's fault at this point. And let's take a look at this CNN video, which is so just, I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous, and it infuriates me every time I have to hear these liberals speak, because all they say are irrational opinions, philosophies, and that aren't backed up. They're just from opinions, and they don't care about the facts. So let's just take a look at this video here.
For months and months, why did the president continue to downplay the severity of this?
That is so That is so false what you're saying, Poppy.
What's false?
He never downplayed that you're saying that he downplayed the severity of this. This president has taken decisive and bold actions from the beginning. When his medical experts came to him and said, look, we need to put these travel restrictions on China, the president acted immediately. You know what Joe Biden said?
Mercedes, let's stick on the president. I promise we can get back to Joe Biden in a moment.
We have to talk about Joe Biden because none of the press wants to ask questions to Joe Biden.
Mercedes, that's not true.
And he's
Mercedes,
the candidate. Shouldn't we know what Joe Biden stands for?
We should, and we should absolutely know what the president leading in this pandemic stands for.
Well, he let you guys ask questions. That's my question.
It is the single most relevant issue for Americans at this moment in time.
And we all agree.
Mercedes, please, I think it does a disservice. We got time, so we don't have to talk over one another. I think it does a disservice to our viewer to do that. Let's not fight. Let's talk about the facts. Here are the facts. You say the president didn't downplay this. Exactly 1 month ago today, the president said it's fading away. January 22nd in Davos, Switzerland, it's totally under control. February 2nd, we pretty much shut it down. February 10th, it goes away in April with the heat, a lot of people think. February 26th, the risk to the American people remains very low. February 28th, quote, this is their new hoax. May 8th, this is going to go away without a vaccine. That's what I'm talking about.
What the president has been able to accomplish working with our both Democrat and Republican governors is ensuring that they have the resources they need to combat the coronavirus. This president has
have the resources they need.
That
Republican Governor Larry Hogan.
I'm
talking about Republican Governor Larry Hogan yesterday recounting that he didn't have enough. Yes, he did. He did, and he also had to.
I don't hear this liberal talking about the riots because we started seeing the surge in the cases just right after, as soon as the riots started occurring. It can't be a coincidence. I mean, you got thousands of people in the streets just sticking the middle finger out to Trump and the Chinese virus because they don't care. They only care about themselves. They don't care about anybody. And they're just there in groups doing irrational things, burning down buildings, murdering people. So are you telling me that there's absolutely no chance on earth that the virus could have originated or just surged just from that specific rioting that occurred a month ago when we started seeing just a surge in cases, whether it was 10,000 more cases daily or 20,000, whatever it was, but it was still a surge, and it's happening today. Why? Because you got these autonomous zones that are being summoned in Seattle, Portland now, and I can't remember the other area. I know there's 3, Chop, Chaz, and now Portland has it, and I don't hear the left talking about this. Specifically, they're not talking about how the U.S. has tested the most people. They're not talking about it because China's Communist Party, they want to look like they've done a tremendous job. So they fake their numbers by stopping the testing. China could have more cases than us by now, and they probably do. But the U.S. is an honest country, right? Trump is the best leader we've had. He's done more than 45 million tests of the COVID, and China has done much less. They have such a diminutive number of cases. Why? Well, I'm talking about diminutive in comparison with the U.S. Why is that? Because they've done much less testing. But the left doesn't care about this. The left doesn't talk about the mortality rate, how low it is. The left doesn't talk about the deaths. They only talk about the high integer, and it's affiliated with the cases. They don't talk about the rioting, how that led to a surge. They don't talk about nothing that is true. They only look at things from their opinion. They don't care about facts. All they care about is blaming Trump for everything. And they're just their ideology behind things. And this is absolutely absurd. I mean, this lady should just retire. She is the worst person I've ever heard speak in the world. She's asking the stupidest questions. This senior advisor annihilated her in this little interview they had. I mean, this is just absurd at this point and preposterous how the left reasons things and how the left views things. I mean, this is absurd. I mean, incredible. It's just incredible. This virus, the only thing that's going to stop is, well, I mean, and again, let me get to this point as well. When Trump issued, when he closed down the country, the economy was going down because nothing was open. I mean, you have to look at this from a rational economic standpoint. You can't let the country go to inflation. You can't let another Great Depression happen. You can't let the economy go down. This is exactly what the left wanted. They wanted Trump to issue a statewide ban and close down all businesses so the economy could go down. And then when the new voters go and register voting, they're going to pick Joe Biden because, well, Trump did a terrible job with the economy. This is what they've always wanted, but trust me, it's not going to happen. Sleepy Joe, I mean, here as you saw, when this amazing senior advisor brought up Sleepy Joe, this lady, this liberal, wanted to change the topic. Why? Because they have to hide his dementia. They have to hide how unfit he is to run the country. Sleepy Joe's not going to win. The left isn't going to win. They're not. Trump is going to be reelected. Our police will be funded, and this country will be great again. And we're going to have 4 more years of greatness with Donald J. Trump in the White House. That I can tell you.